So welcome. Okay, this is our first for 2025 of Retreat to India webinar. We hold these monthly so that throughout the year, you'll hear about me taking a group to India, and you can come to the webinar and ask all of your questions. So we're going to go through a short presentation where we explain to you the program that we bring you in on at the ashram. You'll see some great pictures. You'll look at the schedule. And then at the end, you'll have an opportunity to ask your questions. If you think of a question later, send it to me. We're going to send you some videos and some reading things, after the call. Okay, so here we go. So Yoga Lifestyle Workshop is a 21-day program that we host at the ashram, mostly annually. Was shut down during pandemic for obvious reasons, but it's held the first 21 days of October. Why October? Because it's not hot. Rajasthan has one season, and it's hot as Hades. That's pretty much year round. We have a couple of weeks where we have winter, and at night it does dip down closer to 45 at night, and you'll see the Rajasthanis pulling out their burqas and their boots and their hats, and of course us Michigan girls are walking around in our yoga clothes, and so it's not a problem. But so this presentation that you're going to see tonight was not made by me. This was made by a previous student, participant in Yoga Lifestyle Workshop, who was so transformed that when he got home, he made a presentation and he started sharing it with the world to tell everybody about this opportunity from his eyes. And we agreed with everything that he said and showed, all the pictures that he took and all the quotations that he took from other students, that we decided to, instead of the ashram telling you, we thought it would be best from him. We agree with all of his perspectives, and we're very grateful to him for his contribution to the continuing success of the program. And he prefers to stay anonymous, although you'll see him in every picture. But he does not want to have any credit for his gift of karma yoga. This is the picture that he wanted us to show you first, and the quotation that he wanted you to see first. because he's a foodie, and he heard that Rajasthani food was the best in the world, and he came to find out what that's all about, and he is right. And then he said, I came for the food, and then I stayed for the yoga, but I'm coming back for the people. So that's what he wanted you to see first. Communities in India, there will be different greetings, like Namaste, but in the northern section of Rajasthan, the Thar Desert, we say Ram Ram. Pretty much means the same thing as Namaste Light. The God in me recognizes the God in you, and I know that the who recognizes the divine in me. So they say this to each other as they're passing. This is an image of the front of the ashram, and that's me standing up in the towers. I came to the ashram in 2013 to sort of formalize my yoga therapy diploma, and ended up in a PhD program in Bangalore teaching. But while I was staying there at the ashram, I just fell in love with the culture and the concept that this building is almost 600 years old. It's a fortress. And from its inception in the late 15th century, it has been a yoga therapy institution 100% of the time. It was never capitalized or federalized. They received no funding. They pay no taxes. It predates the country of India. And so all the people that come there for yoga therapy and Ayurveda treatment, they give money to the ashram in bits and bobs, rupees and dollars, to keep the lights on and to keep the people fed. There's always been enough money, just enough, but we do programs like this and bring guests from in and around the world so that they can take advantage of the magic that is there. It's a very spiritual vortex community, but also to make sure that the world is supporting the ashram as our global community changes and morphs. We need to remember that there is life outside of capitalism, and there is life outside of the exchange model of healthcare. Before that, there was indigenous healing that was done in an ashram by babas and yogis and rishis who knew how the world worked and how the 5 elements conspired to make you a healthy person, and they could remind you how to get healthy again. So they devised a long time ago in the Vedas and the Shastras that we use, they devised an understanding of what is health and how do we keep it. And so they wrote it down. He who indulges daily in healthy foods and activities, who discriminates the good and bad of everything and then acts wisely, who is not attached to too much object of the senses, who develops the habit of clarity, of considering all as equal, of truthfulness, of pardoning and keeping company of good persons only, becomes free from all diseases. This predates the definition of health in terms of Ayurveda, but it says the same thing as that. If you stay connected to nature and you hang out with good folks, you're going to be healthy your whole life. So this is our teacher. This is Sureshnath Sid. He is 13th descendant from Shiva. He is in the tantric tradition. He accepted this position as a transmission from his guru when he was 6 years old. He went away to study college just the same way as all of us do. He took a degree in yoga, undergraduate, and then he took a graduate degree, and now he's a PhD scholar in yoga. His specialty is de-addiction. He is the spiritual leader of the organization. He's the president of the trust that manages the organization. He is the co-founder with myself of Rajasthan Hatha Yoga Institute, and he is the co-author of our upcoming book, Yogicology, Spirit in the Soil. He's a wonderful person. Imagine meeting a person who has never cussed or eaten meat or had an adult beverage of any alcoholic kind. He does not eat Western modernized packaged foods ever. He's purely sattvic. And it's an amazing experience to be in the presence of that type of person and in that type of environment. We call that darshan. It means in the presence of. And when you're in the presence of someone like this, you can feel it. It's an electrical current that we can't quite put words to. The objectives of the yoga therapy workshop is that in 21 days, we want to adjust your mind and your body to the 5 pillars of health: proper sleep, proper diet, proper control of your mind, proper breath, and proper movement. Why did the Shastras tell us the word proper? Why didn't they just say diet and sleep? It's because people have 4 phases of their lives. There are different genders and sexes. There are different constitutions. We have 3 different constitutions in the world for everything. And so proper sleep for myself is not proper sleep for the next person. It's going to be a different posture, a different amount of time, going to bed at it, waking up at a different time. So understanding who you are and how to work in the world as you are is part of going to an ashram, so that you can come to appreciate who you are and what you are, and then work with that in the world. Our goal is for that to come home with the energy moving properly throughout the body, and then you can affect everything and everyone around you. So for myself, I'm the designer of this program. This was a profound undertaking where I knew that whatever we were teaching the people who come to the ashram from all countries, they were going to take this tradition home with them, and it was going to affect all of their students and all of their families. So this was a very serious thing for us. When you pay anything forward, we have to make sure that it's pure and right and helpful, right? So this has taken some time. This is a black buck. This is an indigenous species of Rajasthan. And they remind us that the method of adjusting your body to the natural signs is to avoid toxic material accumulation and the onset of disease process. So when we say natural signs, this black buck is very acutely aware of his environment. His sense of smell and hearing is far exceeding many other species of that region, and of course humans. He knows what's happening all around him. Learning to read the signs of what's happening around you so you can behave appropriately is really important, but it can only happen if your 5 senses are healthy, if your body is healthy and receptive to reality around you. So staying in a pure environment like an ashram that doesn't have television or Western lifestyle, and dialing it down to minutes of the day that are sacred and contributing it to the proper use of your energy, eventually, hopefully within 21 days, will increase your sensitivity so that you can be more nuanced and more aware of what's happening around you slowly, so that when you go back into the fast-paced world, you'll be healthier and more able to recognize the symptoms and signs and reality happening around you. This is yoga on one of the rooftops. We have 6 places to practice yoga, one of which is a yogashala. white marble yogashala. You can eat off the ground in this ashram. It's the cleanest place in India, really. But we love to go up in the morning and practice on the rooftops as the sun comes up. So we do that often. So this quote is from a dancer that came to us from Italy, suffering with profound depression after the loss of her boyfriend to suicide. And she was really, really in a bad place. And she stayed with us for 3 months after the yoga lifestyle workshop. And she came to life again and realized that life could be beautiful again, but it started with her. So Gorakhnath is the founder of Hatha Yoga, of all yoga really. And we tell this story very often because the tantric tradition, all of the writings influenced him, and most of them came from him. And he was fully invested in nature as yoga. He was not a scholar and didn't write a whole lot of things down. He was a meditator. So for 14 years, when he turned 14, until he was 28, he traveled India and meditated in caves and holes in the ground, 7 different ones, several of which I visited and sat where he sat in the 9th century. And after 14 years meditation, he came out of the cave and his followers were all there, very curious, after so many years of meditating. They said, okay, so how does it all work? Like, what did you learn? Share everything you learned. Tell us the secret. And Gorakhnath said, I'll tell you what the secret is, the secret to life. It's 3 words: laugh, play, and meditate. Those cover all 3 areas of mind, body, and energy purification. If you can do all 3 of those every day with consistency, regularity, you will be healthy your whole life. He said, but if you don't do that, and you start hanging out with people who don't do that, well, then you're going to need yoga, asana, regular practice. Go find a yoga teacher. And if you still don't want to do your yoga practice, well, now you're going to need to go find an Ayurveda physician, and you're going to have to take pills and do some body work and massage. And, he's going to treat you like a slab of meat. But if you still refuse his medicine, well, now you go to the city and you find a modern physician, and he'll cut the tumor out of you. So Gorakhnath was the founder, really, of the basics of Hatha Yoga, which say that yoga is your connecting device between you and the environment. If you do it every day, laugh, play, meditate, you'll keep them connected and you will never experience disease. The further you get from nature and from natural systems, the more disease you'll experience. Simple, right? Simple, but now we have a modern lifestyle where we have to go to work every day and the pace of, and it becomes very unnatural. So ashram is a place where you can go back and remember to do it the natural way. So let's talk about yoga lifestyle. Exactly, what is it? The days are filled, they're very full. The first few days is maybe a little bit of jet lag depending on when you arrive, but we have yoga theory and practical classes. We have an Ayurveda diet and nutrition, philosophy, physiology lectures every day but Sunday. We have a personal physician or a practitioner will sit with you and understand what your constitution is and how to move with that through a diet and proper exercise. If you need a physician, an Ayurveda physician, to do a proper protocol, if you're in 2nd, 3rd, 4th phase disease, then we do have a physician there and a full wellness clinic that can serve you. We have a yoga therapy group that will also be there to do a consultation and give you instruction on a customized yoga therapy protocol. We have cooking demonstrations with Papu, our chef. You'll go home with our cookbook of traditional recipes. You'll be doing karma yoga every day but Sunday. You'll have inspirational reading and films. You'll have time for self-reflection, and we'll give you exercises. You'll have group and private meditation. You'll have nightly puja and satsang, which consists of song, music, dance, and spiritual discourse. And optional, you can sit with myself or the Guruji and learn a mantra if you'd like to take one home. So the ashram is a public space. It's pretty much unchanged. The outfits of most of the men and women that live there are right out of the 9th century. Not much has changed. Western lifestyle is there. The younger kids are starting to wear jeans and more Western gear, but the older people and the traditional folks like us, We don't wear the Western stuff. There is a dress etiquette while you're on campus, and a behavioral etiquette for all of us while we're on campus to respect the culture there. So we stay covered. You know, we wear yoga clothes, but we don't wear like tight black spandex. It's just not. It doesn't make anybody comfortable. So, so there is a code of behavior that's easy to follow. But this is a family that's come in from Bardmere, from further north toward Pakistan. They've come in to visit with the guru and receive some blessings. So you'll see public there all the time. Great way to interact. So the description from participants, when we asked them after 21 days, tell us what happened, they were pretty much spot on with what we wanted to have happen. You know, some of them came really because they needed a vacation, but then yoga lifestyle in an ashram is hard. So it kind of turned into a self-improvement vacation versus a sitting in the sand vacation. So that was good for them. The immersion was very impressive for them because their day was structured. So they wore their watch and left their phone at home, and they knew which building they had to be in on campus at what time. The fortress is fully enclosed. There's a gate all the way around it, and everything you need is inside. You can visit the village outside, but there's no need for it. Everything that we need is on campus and maintained by the ashram family. So they appreciated that, and that they didn't have to go out and find stuff. So that's a few things that they liked. They really liked the food, the cooking, understanding recipes. They learned how to make millet bread, flat bread. They understood the difference between pranic food and dead food just by eating fully living food every day. Picked right that day, probably by them, or this is Ramarji, our gardener. So eating fully living foods for 21 days is transformative to the human body. So there's our ladies making flatbreads, and they teach you. You'll sit with them and you'll learn how to mix the dough, how to keep it all together before it goes into the flame. I still can't do it. My first one looked like the state of Texas. It was not round. This is how they cook. We have melas on campus during the yoga lifestyle workshop. There is also Utsava Ma, which is the Women in Conservation festival that I started. It's a week long, so you'll be able to access some of those, or you can buy extra tickets and sort of go to all those performances and workshops if you want to. But this is how we cook for very large crowds. It's very large pans, and you can join the crowd and use the paddle. This is Papu giving some instruction, and that's our yogi recipe book. All the food you see here came from our farm and gardens. We have farms and gardens, and we have a fruit tree that we have all of our own foods, all organic, no pesticides ever. On Sunday, we take a day trip into Jodhpur, the local city, to see the castle where the king used to live with all of his brides, and how their lifestyle was, from the 6th to the 10th century. We'll take you to the Silk Road trade district, so you can go and bring home. I got these from the trade district. Lots and lots of beads to bring home. That's what it looks like downtown at the entrance of the Silk Road trade district. It's quite hectic. That's a piece of original handiwork. That's all handmade by craftspeople who still have the traditional handicrafts skills there. You can bring any of that stuff home. So the benefits. This, of course, again, came from the guests. What their take home was that the reason I started this actually was because of one German man. He said to me after the program, after he had visited for just 3 days, and he wanted to stay longer, he said, "How do I take this home with me? If I stay for a week, will I get all of this? Can I figure a way to take it so I continue this lifestyle in my apartment in Berlin?" And I said, "Oh, how do you take the ashram home with you? It's not going to happen in 7 days, but it might happen in 21. It takes 21 days to make any good habit." So we sat down and figured out what did he want as a benefit? What would he need in order to take those things home? So he wanted to adopt and adapt the ashram values, which were all based in alignment with nature. We wake in the morning, we do our oblations and our deference to the sun, we do our work, and then at dusk we say goodbye to the sun and we sing. So he really wanted to make that part of his everyday, even though people around him weren't doing it. He wanted to find a way to rejoice in the natural elements that are present in Berlin, the same as they are in Rajasthan, but they're ignored. So we realized that in order for him to take the ashram home, it would not be as a routine that he was going to do. It would have to be a deeper understanding of how to worship fire, how to recognize water, how to say thank you to lightning. What does lightning do to a farm? What he had to go to the farmers and say, why do we need lightning? And the farmer said, without lightning, there's no nitrogen. Without nitrogen, the seeds won't open. So at the beginning of the farming season, if the lightning doesn't come, then the farmers go out to the field with pots and pans and they bang and bang and bang, trying to replicate the sound of lightning. So these kinds of stories and experiences is what turns people on their head and says, maybe the lifestyle I was living before, though pleasurable and financially profitable, was actually disease forming. And so how can I be healthy and wealthy at the same time? And this is what we got to. So learning how to cook healthy vegetarian foods, how to identify habits and addictions, how to incorporate yoga into a daily routine, how to adopt the ashram values inside of their at-home routine, and how to first understand and believe that perfect health is actually available for a full entire lifetime. Just meeting a 100-year-old man who can stand up and sit down from the floor without any assistance, has never sat in a chair before in his whole life. That was transformative enough for the men that were in the program to see a 100-year-old man who was healthier than they were. That really set them on their ears. This is puja. Very bad pictures at puja. It's nighttime and there's fire and there's lots of dancing. And then we have a lot of visiting Baba, these retiree spiritual men who lecture, travel from ashram to ashram. They get a meal, they get a bed, they meet with the crowd, they give blessings. This gentleman, you can see in his toes, he has some black thread and he's making a handmade mala for somebody who's is getting married or maybe having a child, I can't tell, but he makes these homemade mala with sheep's wool. There's our daily schedule. You can see that class starts at 6, so we're usually awake by 5:30, getting our clothes on, grabbing a cup of tea in the Bhujan Shala, and then quick go to the yoga shala where class is going to meet. Still be dark at that time. You have 2 hours of technique and instruction. Then if you still need to take breakfast, Rajasthani people don't take breakfast, but if you do need to, there will always be khichdi for you in the kitchen. Then you go straight to your karmic yoga assignment. It could be in the kitchen or the garden. If you have transferable skills that can be delivered to the ashram that they don't have, they usually just need help with administration and marketing. That's always helpful too. 9:30, you go to your first lecture. It's usually about lifestyle principles and philosophy of Hatha Yoga. Lunch and rest, library, laundry, and services in the wellness center is from noon to 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, you have your second lecture, and that's about Ayurveda. And then lecture 3 is going to be actually restorative yin asana practicum. And then 6:30, we have dinner. And then after that, we have our puja, our arti at the evening with fire, song, mantra. And then after that, you can study. It's silent time in the morning on your way to yoga class. It's all silent. We don't talk. And then after the sundown and the puja ceremony happens, there's also no talking after the satsang is concluded. So it would be just private study time. On your day off or in the evenings, there's lots of public who's going to want to meet you. Some of our women go into the public schools and just have a quick English lesson with the kids. They crave English, spoken English conversation. When I first got there, all they could really say is, "Where's your husband?" and "How old are you?" So English class in the ashram, or you can go into one of the schools. They love to host Americans so that you can just have a nice conversation with them back and forth. Maybe you'll take home a tutoring student that you'll keep, that you can keep tutoring as you go home. You might have a girl that you continue to tutor from a distance. Hold my goat, true story. My first bus ride into Jodhpur, I got on the bus, terrified, never taken a bus in Rajasthan, didn't know where I was going, but I was hoping it was the right direction. And I sat down and an older woman handed me her goat. So I love this picture. This is one of our students that she went and visited, and these ladies know that Americans love baby goats. So the woman, you know, gave her her goat. Fire dance. So you've heard of Tony Robbins' famous Walk the Coals. Well, this is from the Rajasthani Siddha fire dancers. It's very old. You'll hear the story of how it happened, but most definitely during October, during that 21-day period, there will be a fire dance either on campus or off, and we make sure that you're there. We'll put you in a sari for a fancy event. If there is one on campus, you'll let us tie you into one of those. Wellness services. So during the Yoga Lifestyle Workshop, you're entitled to 3 services that you can select in advance. They're usually feel-good services, or if you're suffering from something like insomnia or headaches or something like that, we can prescribe like this Shirodhara you can see on the screen. The sesame oil dripping will get rid of your headache. But there's a lot of services, and we'll hook you up with the right one. And then if you want more, you can. They're a whopping $40 each service. So definitely it's affordable. You can book yourself 1 every day or 2 every day. So here you go, inclusions. What do you get? You commit to a 21-day workshop. I'll help you by telling you which flight to take so that we can all arrive together. I leave from JFK in New York, but depending on where everybody comes from, we can meet at JFK and take the same flight, or we can hook you up so that when you arrive in Jodhpur, after you transfer in Delhi, you go to Jodhpur, and we'll make sure that there's a car waiting for you there. So, but the inclusions are transportation from the local airport. So we pick you up, and from after that, you don't have expenses. There's nothing on campus that you can really buy. There's going to be a shop where you can buy souvenir if you like, but there's no need to bring currency onto campus. Everything is just there. 2 meals daily, plus you get the fruits at 4 o'clock, and you get 3 chai throughout the day. You get a double room with 2 twin beds and a private shower. If you arrive alone, we assign you a roommate. The 1-day trip into Jodhpur for shopping in the castle is included. 2 or 3 nights a week, we'll have a movie all together on the garden. If you like Bollywood, I'm a big fan. You can sit under the stars and have popcorn and watch Bollywood, along with the entire community. There's nightly puja and the prayer and all that, access to the library, all the gardens, daily karma yoga, 3 services, 6 hours daily instruction. And if you want to go to the festival, the Utsava Ma festival, you can donate a small amount and add that onto your package. Optional. After the yoga lifestyle concludes, there's an overnight camel safari where you arrive at a place, a camel chooses you, you get on, and you ride out into the desert to the tent community, which I'm sorry, I forgot to include a picture of the tent community. It's just a bunch of tents. But anyway, there's a dining hall and showers inside the tents. It's a private tent with a shower and bath inside. And then you meet for dinner, and there's dancing, and there she is, dancer that comes in from the Thar Desert. The Thar Desert Kaivalya dancers is similar to our pole dancers, or like, you know, kind of dancing for men kind of ladies. So we don't have them on campus so much, but we do like to go out into the desert and watch what they do. It's a very old tradition, similar to like gypsy dancing in the United States, but they're very good. It's very entertaining, and you sit around a big bonfire and they make you dance with them, and it's really wonderful. And then in the morning, we wake you up and make you go out and do yoga with the sunrise and the camels. They like to join you. You can see the footprints between the yoga mats. Those are camels. Optional also, you can go to the tree farm with the family. We have 3,000 indigenous fruit-bearing trees. We have 620 of those are pomegranates. my first experience walking out in the morning and picking a pomegranate, I had never had a pomegranate, but just to pick one and eat it was weird. It was wonderful. So where does your donation go? When you donate this fee to the ashram for the Yoga Lifestyle Workshop, it goes into a general fund, which is used to keep the lights on, used to feed the travelers that come in, the traveling babas, the Seva are karma yogis that come in from all around the world to contribute their labor. It also goes to all of our scholarship programs to keep girls in school until the 12th grade. We send 2 girls through college and in environmental sciences. And then there's after school programs at the ashram concerning conservation and nature preservation. What else? Lots of stuff concerning kids. Oh, and we have a drug de-addiction camp once a year. We have a children's free yoga camp once a year in May. We have a skills training camp every year for women only. So your donation goes to a great place. Primarily, our focus at the ashram is to plant trees. Your donation goes to planting 15,000 trees per year. The saplings, half of those saplings are grown and started right in our gardens. Make new friends. So I'm a part of the ashram family. I'm not just the director of the yoga programs, but I'm Shrima according to them. I am the female energy that makes the ashram work. So that when you come and you join the family, you will become a part of what makes the ashram work. And it's a forever thing. So the all-inclusive workshop for 21 days is $1,344 US dollars donation to the ashram, and there you have a complete description of what the program is. The Yoga Lifestyle Workshop at Sri Jasnath Asana offers a traditional, holistic, non-commercial experience in a 500-year-old fortress on the edge of the Thar Desert. A fun and thorough yoga immersion for all abilities, which includes daily exercise, meditation, and learning from veteran teachers within a safe and convenient, pristine, clean campus offering all necessary amenities. Optional sightseeing and shopping along with the best organic food in Rajasthan, as expressed by many visitors from around the world on TripAdvisor. We are 5 stars on every review, mostly because of our food, but also because of our accommodations. They are modern toilets, modern showers, modern dorm rooms, pristine, clean, white marble. So whatever you've heard about India, the filth or whatever, maybe between Delhi and the ashram, you'll experience some of that. But once you're inside ashram, the standards are quite high. No shots are needed to visit the ashram because we are so far north in the desert that malaria cannot live there. There is no one on campus that's going to demand any kind of immunization papers for you. We don't ask if you've been immunized against COVID. It is not a thing there like it is in the United States. So your medical history is your business. The only thing that we do ask is that you need to interview to join the Yoga Lifestyle Workshop so that we can make sure you're healthy, and so that there won't be any thing to obscure your complete immersion and participation in the program. But should you become ill while you're on campus with some sort of a cold or flu or something minor, there is a modern physician in town. All the modern medicine and hospitals are all available to us all the time, even though the ashram is purely yogic and Ayurvedic. So there is options for you to get care like that. No one's gotten sick at the ashram, by the way. So his final word on the last screen was add more food images. So we will collect more food images. So there you have it. Yoga Lifestyle Workshop hosted by Sri Jasnath Asana. Asana is the old word for ashram. Asana means place or position. It's the root word of asana, so means alignment or position. And there you have the website location so you can get more information and watch a video. And thank you so much for joining the presentation this evening. I look forward to traveling with you.